to break up with my girlfriend for having no motivation, but she won't let me.
Because she's unmotivated as well.
She's like, wow, we'll get to it. We'll get back to that.
We'll figure it out later.
I, male 24, met a girl, female 22, in a community college class when I was 20. We came from very different backgrounds. I was middle class, trying to find a cheaper way to go to college. She was living in almost poverty going to school because she was forced to by her parents, who were threatening to kick her out.
Oh, wow.
By the way, this comes from CocoTub on the BestofRedditorUpdates subreddit. So, she dropped out about a year into her schooling while I continued and finished. During her first year, we formed a relationship, and she moved into my apartment, more or less. Her relationship with her parents is pretty much non-existent, and she has little to no outside friends besides 1 or 2 women she knew from high school who are deadbeats, in my opinion. I make around $80K a year, so we live relatively comfortably, but there's still some strain on finances. I can't say exactly when I started losing feelings, but the fact that she refuses to work, will not cook, and wants to eat out every day, does not want to go to school, and continuously wants to buy and spend money on clothes and other stuff, just slowly started grating on me more and more.
Dude, I know someone like this. I know someone like this.
This is frustrating.
They don't have any hobbies. They just like to eat food and shop.
That's boring.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Tell us the name.
I can't.
Yeah, you can't.
I can't.
Don't,
I'm just praying
kidding.
that they don't watch this show.
No,
That's
I feel
how
like
well I know
I
'em.
feel like when you're, you want to have like some hobbies in
Yeah,
just
like
in
be a
general.
foodie, be
Yeah.
like a fashion person.
Cooking, so that you
I can't even go into more detail.
Yeah.
I'll start pissing people off, but
I work I work in a female-dominated workplace, and having conversations and interacting with the coworkers who have so much going for them, have fun hobbies and aspirations, makes it all the more worse when your girlfriend is chronically online and spends 7 hours a day scrolling through Instagram or TikTok reels and thinks having spicy sleep is all she needs to do on her end. Damn.
yeah, she's just like low key. She's rotting, dude.
Yeah, she's in a rotting
She's
era.
just existing, but that's it.
Our relationship isn't bad. We have fights every now and then like an average couple. Have an active spicy sleep life, but that's pretty much it. From her perspective, if I broke up with her, it would be out of nowhere. But I'm pretty much done. And know I could move on quickly and have nothing to be regretful about, as crappy as it sounds. The problem comes in her having no job, no finances, almost no friends, and no family support unit.
Oh,
I'm not a monster. I don't want to make someone virtually homeless, but I don't want to be stuck with someone who has nothing going for them either. I don't want it. I don't know what to do. And there is an edit and an update.
So, read the edit.
Thank you all for the advice on the post. I don't know if the sub allows updates, but I'll talk to her tomorrow about this and start the process of working this out.
Okay, good. Because they care for her as a
Yes.
person and want her well-being to be
sure.
good. And it sounds like an intervention.
I think so. I think this is something that you could talk to her about. But I also understand that just like wanting to be with someone who has aspirations and their life is going somewhere, like you want someone who excites you and stuff.
Yeah.
I get that. Like
yeah.
I think I want to be like with a partner. For me, I want to be impressed by them.
Yes, and not be complacent.
Yeah.
I refuse to be complacent in my relationship. It'll be the death of
Like
it.
my life, I don't want to just sit around, which is not to say that this is not, for other people this works, but for me personally,
Yeah.
I
But if
I
you're
want to
sitting
travel and I
if
want
you're sitting around, you're watching the new art game. You're playing Minecraft.
Exactly.
You're still doing something that excites you.
Well, that I think is different. I think there's a difference between having time spending together where like you're playing. I mean, even video games is a hobby.
Yeah.
Yes,
Like
it
you're doing it
is.
together, and you're those are things that you can do together that are kind of relaxing things.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there's a difference between doing it like, a couple days a week rather than 7 days a week, 24/7. You are just sitting there on your phone and being
For
literally
7 hours.
Well, it doesn't even seem like she's playing video games. It's just
she's just on TikTok or
Death
Instagram and
scrolling.
just like,
Yeah,
all
death
right, let's do
scrolling.
spicy stuff, and that's our day.
Yeah.
That was fun, wasn't it? Let's do this
Yeah.
again tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't do that.
No,
yeah.
no. And I think that's where
Oh, no.
if you hit that wall, you
Yes.
definitely got to talk to them.
Yeah.
You gotta talk.
And if they don't change, if that's their if that is their personality trait, that's draining.
Yeah, Harriet Spaghetti, they just seem incompatible.
Yeah. Update. next day.
Uh-oh.
For starters, I want to thank everyone for all the advice I was given on the last thread, as it helped me formulate how I would go about doing this. When I made that post, I was having an extremely bad day and didn't expect it to blow up like it did. So I don't think I was able to give her a fair defense. Also, I got dozens of messages ranging from asking me to hand out her contact info so they could take her in as a live-in spicy sleep girlfriend.
What the hell?
Oh,
That's gross.
Thanks, internet.
Disgusting.
Okay.
To helpful advice telling me to start hiding anything valuable.
Oh.
If OP thinks that's helpful, then is this a problem that's already happened? When I had said that she had come from poverty, her father is a laborer, while her mother also lives a similar lifestyle to how she lives now. Their home is maybe 1,100 square feet and in a terrible place in town, and given her father's past ultimatum, I don't think he will take her back as she hasn't been home in years. Yes, I have talked to her about this since January, maybe 3 times. Either by gently telling her it would be nice if she went out more to find a hobby, at the very least, to flat out saying she was wasting away on her phone and that she needs to get a job or go back to school. Each time she either changed the subject, makes it a joke, or follows through with a couple of days before going back to her usual self.
Oh, man.
She is a kind partner who asks me about my day, always tries to make me laugh or lighten the mood when I get annoyed, and generally shows a lot of affection, which makes me feel terrible when none of that works anymore, and I just see her as another person. Now for the confrontation.
Real quick.
Yes.
I feel like for someone that is in their ways, they will not change until something dramatic happens in their life. Like in my last relationship, I was not in a good place mentally, and I was kind of gaining some weight. And then whenever we broke up, I was able to fix myself mentally and lose a lot of weight. I lost like 25 pounds after like 3 months.
Way to go, buddy.
Thank you. And I feel like it's going to be hard, and hopefully something dramatic may need to happen in her life and that she can take it well.
Yeah.
That's my hope for this.
It might be.
It sucks, but a reality check is a reality check.
Yeah.
And that's what you need sometimes.
Ellie says, I feel like she is struggling with depression and ADHD because I've been this person before and that was my issue. Yeah, I mean, I hope that she can get some kind of clarity and stuff about this. Last night when we were, now for the confrontation.
Whew.
Last night when we were both getting ready for bed, I didn't take my clothes off and instead just stood there telling her we needed to talk. At first she was smiling and jumping up and down on the bed with her knees, thinking I wasn't as serious as I was, but eventually she was able to read the mood. I told her something wasn't feeling right anymore, that I've tried to make this work and be patient with her for the past few years, but I didn't know how much more time I was willing to spend waiting for her to get a job, go back to school, or just get a hobby or anything. I told her that it annoyed and grated me that she didn't seem to care about herself and that I hated she had no goals or aspirations. This was probably the first time in a long time she was as attentive as she's ever been during this conversation and agreed to whatever I was saying, and even also giving suggestions on where she could apply, what courses were starting to interest her, and even said I could look over her as she submitted applications online to make sure she wasn't lying. In her head, it seemed like I was still willing to make this work. And a part of me believed this would finally be the moment that she would change. So it made the next part even harder for me and for her. At first, I told her I didn't love her the same way, which slowly but eventually led to me saying I didn't feel anything at all about this relationship and was jaded. I was tired and wanted a fresh start with someone who was more goal-oriented and wanted something more out of life. When she realized what I was getting at, she started to cry and asked why I didn't mention this sooner. And I've said I've always asked her to cook, to go out with me, to try something out, or to just go back to school, even when I offered to pay for her classes, anything. She says she understands that part, but was upset why I didn't say it was leading to me losing interest in her, because from her perspective, it seemed as if I still loved her all the same. She started apologizing, saying she wasn't in the right mental state, and saying nothing was motivating her, and she genuinely had no interest in any hobbies. The only thing she liked was spending time with me, which is all she looked forward to in the day when I came home. Damn. Ooh, this is so tough. This is so tough. Because I understand what he's saying of like I just don't have interest anymore, but also I totally get what she's saying of like, it didn't feel like you brought this up in a way that communicated you had a problem with it.
Yeah, because it was like in passing.
Yes.
Ugh, that's so tough. Yeah, and then over time he's resented her.
Yeah.
And
communicate that. If you have actual problems, sit down and be like, this is a problem in our relationship and you like, I need to see some change.
Yeah, don't wait for it to wait till the end. Be like, oh,
Don't wait until the end.
Yeah, this is a serious conversation that we should have had 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Oh man.
I'm over you now.
Hate this. None of this was really affecting my emotions besides making me feel uncomfortable, so I tried to continue by saying, I think her lifestyle would be better with another person. But she immediately cut me off and became more panicked. She started to apologize again for what she's done and said she would be a better girlfriend, that she would go with me tomorrow to wherever I wanted to go and would look for courses in August that she could start doing. But she did not. But she did not want to lose me since she had nothing else in life and absolutely hated that I stopped loving her. There were so many tears and snot that I said we would have this conversation again when she calmed down, and we eventually did in an hour or so. She pleaded to give her 2 months to make a change and give her another chance and promised that she would change. Again, she listed off all the places she would apply to and said she would be a better partner.
No, that's...
No.
That's
the
not...
thing is that she needs to do it for herself. Yeah. Like, if she's doing it for another person, it's not going to stick.
See that? Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that? I passed it off to her. I was
it right
visually
into my
giving
brain.
her my thoughts and expressions.
I took them.
Yeah, because this is not going to last if you're doing this for your boyfriend.
Yeah.
You're going to lose motivation so quickly.
Yeah,
it's got to come from within.
That happened when she did kind of do it. And then immediately went back to doing her old habits immediately. Not like a couple weeks. It was like immediately.
Yeah.
So.
Yikes.
I never wanted to make her homeless, so this seemed like a good settlement, even though I still had my doubts. I then reaffirmed that I wanted to see other people, but she seemed much more adamant on this issue than the aspirations issue, that she would be able to fix this. She said just give her a month to try and make the relationship work, and asked me again and again on what she could do to make me love her again, and that she didn't want me to hate her. She said that this was the worst part of it all, and the only person that she had just being done. It seemed as if she was about to break down again, so I said, okay, we'll see how the relationship is in a month. In her mind, if I'm allowing her 2 months to get back on her feet, then by a month, she would already be ready to move on. I also didn't want her to suffer a complete mental breakdown while I was still living with her, so giving her a month to let her fix the relationship would give her enough time to accept things. I slept on the couch last night and will probably continue to do so for a while. She came out at about 3 a.m. wanting to talk some more. At 3 a.m.? But I said I was...
not sleeping. She probably can't sleep.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's her only support system right there.
Yeah. And also, like, the person she lives with, like, relies on, doesn't have a job. But I said I was exhausted and we would do it tomorrow. She then slept on the floor beside me for the rest of the night, apologizing again. When I told her to stop, she silently said okay and sobbed for a bit under her blanket. But that's everything that's happened so far. This was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, but I regret nothing and feel much better letting everything out. I don't know how the situation will be in 2 months, but I was firm that it was the deadline. This post will probably get buried, so I probably won't do another update since I don't think anyone will care about this in a week or a month. But I will definitely private message you, blah, 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 blah. There's an update.
Yeah, buddy, we saved the story for the end of the day because it was the longest one we have. Yeah. We know you have more to say.
We know you've got more to say. Don't you worry.
Real quick poll.
Yes. Poll.
You got it. What am I going to poll? You got it?
Break up with her.
Or?
Don't.
Dude, Sophia and I... Right here.
I like for a second I was like, do I know what you're, and then I was like, yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I do.
I
think you got to break up with her. There's no sense in like, I understand wanting to give her a second to, find a place to live and find a job and stuff. But I think that conversation needed to be like, you're welcome to stay here for a month while you get back on your feet.
Yeah.
Rather than we could fix the relationship.
Do you think she has put herself in a tight situation?
Absolutely. I mean, she's relying completely on someone else and she has no money, no school, nothing. She doesn't have her family. Mm-hmm. She's completely relying on OP and
she wasn't bringing anything to the relationship.
No.
It seemed like.
Well, that's one thing.
Yeah.
But that's still like,
that's
even if you're bringing that to the relationship, you're not even valuing yourself if you believe that's the only thing you bring to a relationship.
Yeah, that's not a relationship.
No, it's just one aspect.
But just my take as well, it's really hard because I've kind of been in that position where you don't want to hurt this person and you want the best for them. But this is also kind of like leading them on. I think Josephine said it.
Oh, yeah.
if you're leading them on and like, okay, I'll give you the 2 months and we'll be still together, like you're giving them false hope.
Yeah,
false
it's
hope,
giving her hope that you're not interested in this.
And you're already out of it. It seems like
you were out of it months ago. Like you should just be honest. It sucks for her, but just be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. What would we say? Is that emotional manipulation, kind of? Not, it's not manipulating because you're like, you want them to do it. But
I don't know. I mean, given the thing and he's now coming to this realization, I don't think it's emotional manipulation.
No.
Because they are still trying to figure out how they feel. And they're like, okay, this is how I feel. How can I explain this to this person with the highest amount of consideration knowing they have no other place to go?
Yeah.
So I don't think so.
I don't think it's manipulation, but it's like another word. I just can't think of it. If you know what I'm trying to say, but it's like.
I mean, I think he just wants to leave amicably.
Yes,
but
she's kind of guilting him into
but she's at a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She doesn't have anywhere to go right now. But there is an update on July 29th.
I predict that they break up and then she goes crazy mode. And that's the whole story. And that's what the whole story is going to be.
She's going to keep using, but you said in 2 months.
Just give me another month. Wait, one more time.
We're about to get back in this story, but Riley, I wanted to read a funny comment to you real quick.
Oh, yeah?
So this comes from Metal Coney. I thought John bringing up his knee injury was about to be an ad for ZocDoc. Well, now it is. So I have an update for Metal Coney and everyone. Guys, I finally was able to get a fantastic physical therapist.
Thank God.
I'm on my exercises. My knee melons are gone.
Dude, those things are huge.
It was like someone took a balloon pump or a tire pump and just pumped up my knees. It was crazy. But we're doing good.
I have seen you walk up the stairs a little bit faster now.
I've been walking upstairs. I did a hike yesterday with my girlfriend Naima.
How'd you do that though?
You know, there was only one place I could possibly fathom to turn to fix my knee. You know where that was, Riley?
I have no idea.
ZocDoc! ZocDoc is a free app and website where you can search and compare highly rated doctors in network near you and instantly book appointments online with them. And guys, we all know that these doctors have actual verified reviews from real patients like you. We're talking about booking appointments with tens of thousands of top-rated, patient-reviewed, credible doctors and specialists, y'all. And you can filter for ones that take your insurance. We're looking out for your pockets, ladies and gentlemen, and treat basically any condition that you're searching for. And guys, the typical wait time is not a long time. It's just between 24 and 72 hours to see someone on ZocDoc. Sometimes even the very same day. Guys, we all know. I use ZocDoc. I love it. We all use ZocDoc. You should join us and use ZocDoc too. Go to ZocDoc.com/OKOP and download the ZocDoc app for free. Guys, free 99. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. That's ZocDoc.com/OKOP, ZocDoc.com/OKOP. Let's get back to the story.
I've been doing some self-reflecting, and I think I know how I want to go about this that will help with my lack of communication skills. I know I'm not a perfect person, but I still stand by my decisions I made that night 100% through and through. I might post an update sooner in a week or so, as the day after our fight, I'm filled with a bit more hope than usual. Don't know how long it will last, but better make use of it. But again, just wanted to post this for everyone sharing your stories with me privately, as I can't message you all, as it's been helping me make decisions on what to do about this all immensely. And there is another update. Okay. I'm just going to go into that.
Yeah.
This is a long post. Hey y'all, it's been about a week since my last post, and I thought I'd give an update. A lot has happened, including the explosion of my first update thread. I've had over 50 DMs, yada, yada, yada. I find it easier to write than to speak in many situations, so this has been a great way to help my decisions and clear my head. Writing everything down has helped tremendously, and I will continue to do so, yada, yada, yada. After the night confrontation, there we go. This is the start of the update. After the night confrontation, we didn't really speak all too much at home, with it being dry and awkward for a day or two. But I've been told I'm a workaholic by nature, so it was easy for me to stay at the hospital as a distraction. But in that time, she did start to cook again. We weren't in the mood to go out to eat together. Eventually, though, I sat down with her after she asked for a more thorough conversation on why I felt our relationship was failing. She promised not to cry or get upset, but wanted me to be 100% upfront so she had a better way of understanding, stating she wanted to try everything to fix this. I was really apprehensive about this, and I can't really explain why, but given being together for 4 years, 4 years is a long time.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to at least make an effort myself out of respect, even though a large part of me was angry for even doing so, as I feel I've never had the same from her. There have been many different camps in my last update. The main ones being kick her out immediately and leave her before it gets worse. Try to find a way to fix our relationship, or end the relationship altogether, but continue living with someone who would probably become absolutely neurotic. If I was going to let her stay for 2 months, I would absolutely not be dealing with that. I took consideration in all these main advice discussions and read through almost every reply, even the most assumptive, bizarre, and downright unhinged Redditor takes. More importantly, I took heavy influence of those who have shared with me their past stories, which either led to them being stuck in loveless relationships for years or eventually being able to overcome their problems and have an even stronger connection. Thank you again for your private messages. I read through a lot of your lives. Now, for our conversation.
Okay, thank goodness.
She said she saw something on TikTok where couples put a phone on a table with a timer and wanted to do something similar for each person to air what made them upset. I said that was dumb. If we were going to talk about our problems, it would be better if there was no time limit. She eventually agreed and said I could go first, asking me first when was the time that I completely lost my love in her. As I said before, it was never one action, but a grating feeling that got worse and worse until it got to this point. And I told her that. So she then asked, when was the time I felt the most angry? I said it would take some time to think for me, and she said that was fine. After a few minutes, something came to my mind. I couldn't formulate the right words at first, but it eventually just started to come out. I told her the worst time was when I first started at my hospital. To keep it short, the tempo was brutal. It was constant work with little to no downtime, as I was constantly learning new things that school would have never taught me, while being expected to be able to handle it as a professional. It was without a doubt the most stressed I've ever been, and I feel like other RNs can relate here. That year hardened the way I think now. That hard work does pay off if you have the drive and passion. I told her I think that was when I was starting to lose feelings the fastest. Seeing her at home doing absolutely nothing. Coming home to no food made, to her not working a job, to her not learning anything, completely stuck to the internet with nothing to show for it.
Yeah, dang. Because you're working your butt off and then your partner's like,
just sitting. I said it made me even more upset when I had given suggestions for jobs with pretty easy schedules, or to find a new interest in school that would pan out better than last time, only to be rejected at my every attempt. I told her flat out that it disgusted me. She asked me why I didn't make this a bigger issue at the time, that I should have communicated this to her. But I said there's some things that shouldn't have to be said. I shouldn't have to remind her to wash her butt, eat, do something other than mindlessly scroll on her phone for hours a day, every day. Yes, I agree with that, but I also think that when you see a partner who's, just kind of like stuck, I feel like you can go in and say like, hey, I've noticed like, you doesn't seem like you have a passion for anything right now, and I really want you to like find that for yourself.
And getting a little glimpse on how he communicates with his girlfriend. Their girlfriend came up with an idea, hey, let's do this timer thing, and he was like,
he's that dumb.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
That's sort of his communication style. I wish we had a little bit more perspective on his communication style.
Like, I think she's still in the wrong, or not in the wrong per se.
Yeah,
but like, not right for this relationship, but
all these, he didn't give a lot of warnings. He was just sort of like
he said this has been happening for a while.
Yeah.
Like he thought this a long time ago and didn't bring it up.
They make stop signs really big for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He said he did it like 3 times in let's say 4 years. But none of those were like a serious sit-down conversation. It was like, I think you should go to school.
Yeah, it wasn't like you need to do this.
Yeah.
Like, there needs to be a shift.
Dang.
Like, disgusted by her and you didn't bring that up?
Dude, come on.
I also told her that after coming home from the hospital during more stressful days, the last thing I wanted was to spend my time begging my girlfriend to do something productive. So I held my tongue and settled as she was still nice and caring. I had no other reasons to end it, and so the resentment grew worse from then on. It was around here that I became more mean to my regret now, but I was still inputted as I have everything else. I told her that when she dropped nursing, I was upset since I felt that she was more than capable of doing what I had done. But after spending more time in the relationship and spending more time getting to know her, I knew that with the type of person she was, there was no way she could have ever finished.
Shoo.
Damn, that's harsh. Which is why I suggested easier and more laid-back jobs, less demanding majors for school. Crap, even if she just cooked or found an interesting hobby at that point, I would have appreciated it. Still, she chose to do nothing for years. It's just the type of person she was, and why I felt done with her romantically over time. She asked me if I hated her, and I said I didn't know. Oh, ouch.
I don't think he actually hates her. I think he's just done
Yeah.
and over her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told her she was very loving and kind, but I hated how she handled her life to this point. That I felt no ill will towards her after airing everything out, but I also felt nothing else. I just felt done and ready to move on. Throughout this conversation, we kept eye contact, and there were times it seems like she would break, but like she said, she remained as calm as she could while I said what I had to say. I told her I was done, and she could say her piece now, but she asked if we can continue the conversation later and locked herself in her room for the rest of the day. Oh, what a tough conversation. Oh,
what the heck?
Like draining, man. Oh my
God. That is pretty draining. Not a lot of progress was really made.
No. Like I don't know what the solution is here. I mean, or not even the solution. I don't know what the goal is in this conversation.
It's just voicing his
things that he should have voiced ages ago.
Yeah, it's too late.
Too late.
Like,
I do think they need to break up, but I also think that like communication was a big problem in this relationship.
Yeah, fumbled the bag on that one.
Mm-hmm. The next day, we sat down again and finished the conversation. She told me that she thinks she's depressed, which a lot of you guys in the comments said, saying that she didn't feel sad before that night, just had no motivation to do anything. I had a couple of messages telling me to ask her to get tested for ADHD, but when I started bringing it up, she was very adamant that it is not something she's felt comfortable with. I knew she didn't like needles or going to the hospital in general, but her flat out refusing to get tested for disorders when I told her it was not at all like a regular hospital visit surprised me. She asked me if she was able to change in her behaviors, would I give her another chance? I said I didn't know, as I felt nothing right now and didn't know if her doing it would bring back any feeling, especially since it took my breaking point to do so. She asked if there was any compromise, and I told her again, if in a month I felt like there was a reason enough to stay together, I would, but that there was no guarantee that my feelings would return, but I would match any effort she also put out. She was frustrated by my answer, but I said that's how it would be. She gave me a piece of paper to look at that she was working on last night that had a list of hobbies and interests she wanted to look into, the two major ones being photography and cooking again. She told me that she was looking into these while also showing me her phone, giving proof that she was putting in applications on Indeed and Glassdoor for some entry-level positions that she might get hired in. Again, this is just like, it needs to be self-motivated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is, I think he needs to stop saying like, oh, well, you know, maybe I'll change my mind.
Yeah.
The false hope. False hope.
Just
false
don't.
hope. False
just
hope.
Don't.
What I would do in this situation is I like to kind of separate, like sometimes whenever I talk to Angie, I'm like, you're talking to a friend right now.
Yeah.
You're not talking to your boyfriend.
Yeah.
And in this situation, it's like you're talking to your boyfriend, and I feel like you need to bring it down to a level. Like, I'm talking to you as a friend.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to figure out your life so you're not stuck here, because this is unmaintainable.
Yup.
And he's just sort of like, he's not really helpful. I mean, I understand he's out, but I just think they just need
this isn't the type of conversation that I don't know. I feel like he's not having a conversation that would lead, I don't know. Like, he's saying that he wants to get back together with her, but this conversation is not saying that.
Yeah.
He's shown that he doesn't want to get back together.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. This conversation is showing that he really does not want to get back together. So it's like two different things going on here.
Yeah, he made his choice.
Yeah.
A mediator
choice.
would be nice.
Choice. Yeah.
Like a couples counselor or something. Just sort of like, I don't know, because this is not productive at all.
It's not productive. This is not a productive conversation. Just break up with her. If you want to break up with her, you should have done it like ages ago.
Yes.
I told her if she was able to show enough passion or interest in these hobbies that she showed, I would not care about her working, just anything to improve herself. I also just hate the idea of like, oh, you need to impress me to stay together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, again, I don't know. The Kim Kwan says self-motivation is not the only way, Sophia. Not all of us are able to self-motivate, and it is okay until you're able to love yourself enough to do it for yourself. For sure, but I think at some point, just doing it for someone else, like it should eventually be self-motivated. Like, yeah,
true.
It shouldn't just be for the love and validation of someone else, because that love and validation is not, it's not given unconditionally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then Harriet Spaghetti, I've been where his GF is, where you're depressed, but I haven't pursued dating for that reason. I don't want to put myself in a relationship when I'm not even living my life as a person I want to be. That too. I feel like in order to like put yourself out there, you want to be the best version of yourself, or you even want to be like, dateable. Yeah. Like, dude, a year and a half ago, me? No. Gosh, no. But yeah,
Man.
it's just like seeing
I don't
like
like either of these people now.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm like, well, I mean, like
It's like watching a dog die slowly, a little puppy dying very.
And
Not
he's
even
like
a puppy.
kicking. He's kicking her.
Yeah. Ugh.
I'm doing it with love and
Yeah.
harsh words. That's what it seems
harsh.
like. Yeah.
So harsh.
Ew.
But if she didn't do anything at all, then it would be best to look for a new job to help her if she moves out. Oh, I've also been asked in private messages if I have any personal friends to talk to. There's 2 female coworkers I confide some information in, given how many hours we work together at our hospital, and who I completely trust, as in my opinion, they're extremely grounded.
Uh-oh, I see you.
They both said I would eventually get love bombed and this would all go back to how it once was, and that I needed to stand firm with moving on. Yes, move on. They're very helpful friends who have even offered to let me stay over for a few nights, giving the reason that I would fall for her manipulation if I continued being anywhere near her, in their own words. But it didn't feel right, since I'm still technically in a relationship, that I said I would consider it if the situation worsened. But again, I find them grounded, so I always try to take their advice to heart. Despite numerous messages from you all, privately or openly telling me that this will be a mistake, I want to make the attempt to give this one last try. Though I feel heavily closed and guarded and still feel indifferent with our current situation, but a lot of you have told me this can eventually change with enough work from both parties. No, stop.
I don't think you even want this for yourself,
you don't
man.
want this. Stop.
You're trying to turn into a woman that she's not right now.
Yeah, she can't be that right now.
She can't.
I've also taken the advice of those saying to cut off spicy sleep, which was my intention from the start anyway, by continuing to sleep in the living room. But each day she has been sleeping on the floor right below me, even when I tell her I'd rather be alone with my thoughts, telling me this is something she would not accept. Dude, just break up with her. Ugh. And Emma1408, thank you for the $5. He said it was his breaking point that took her trying to change, yet didn't communicate prior about his feelings unless I zoned out during that.
Yeah. And then we got Josephine Dono that relates to the story, if you want to pull that up real quick on the top.
Josephine, thank you for the 65 sec. She sounds like she might have BPD or just abnormally strong abandonment issues, and giving her false hope and leading her on can make it worse for her. Yes,
100%,
absolutely.
which it is.
It's actively making it worse for her. But that's everything so far. Next update will probably be at the month mark, as there's nothing else I feel like I need to say for now. And there are some other updates.
16 days later.
16 days later.
Okay. I just hope for a little inkling of positivity in this next update.
I just want them to break up. This
Get
is not
it over
healthy.
with.
Please.
Gosh.
Stop dragging it out.
Like, it's funny because he's wanting her to change, but I don't think OP's changing at all either.
No, it's just like stuck. Everyone's stuck here.
Everyone's complacent.
Everyone's complacent here.
I'll be an a-hole to you because you're just not doing anything, which is making me be an a-hole.
Yeah.
It's like, it's just.
Why would you want to treat your partner like that?
It's rinse, repeat, recycle at this point, with false hope.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But they're.
I kind of want to stop reading it.
I know. This is just sad. just depressing. But there is another update.
Yeah, don't you guys like how I started the first story really positive? And
yeah, the first story was so happy.
I know, that's how I gotcha.
Oh, Jinx, thinking about buying my husband a membership. He's a psych major. Just watch together and get him a membership.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Susan S., I love seeing Riley and Sophia together. You guys work well together.
Dude, I am going to say with the thing happening in like a week or so, you'll see more. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't even know what's how. I don't know.
Yeah, you do.
Do I?
The thing
I
I
don't
told
know
you
what's going on
earlier.
here.
You'll have to tell me again.
Okay. All right.
You do know.
But we are pretty effective.
Yeah. Title, first week. Hello, a lot has happened in the past 2 weeks. It's actually felt more like a month with how much has gone down.
So it is the month mark.
It's like the month is up. I'm done. To those I have DM'd with on Reddit about my situation, sorry, I have not been replying. My girlfriend was very proactive last week.
All right.
It was a manic influx of energy as she tried to get interested in many different things that she thought she could enjoy. I kept my promise in meeting her halfway and tried my best at helping her in whatever way I could. The only real interest that she's been mainly sticking with is photography. I've said before that she has a stockpile of clothes that she's had over the years, and she sold a few of them on Depop in order to get enough money to get a Canon 250 camera that she says is good for starting out.
Okay.
She's looked a lot more into this than me. I strongly assume she's stuck with this hobby as it gave her a chance to spend more time with me. As she continued asking me to go out into the city to take pictures and test out her camera, Given that I had promised to match her energy and didn't want to be a hypocrite, I did so even when I came home from longer shifts at the hospital.
He's keeping his word.
Yeah. There was a major change in her behavior, however. While she usually was a very loving, affectionate partner, it had been turned up to its max during the first week. She asked me maybe 8 times a day how I was doing, if I was upset, what I wanted to do for the rest of the day, just trying to gauge my mood. When we went out, her PDA was also maxed. She wanted to kiss, hold hands, and spend the night out as long as possible, even when I said I had to go in early to work the next day. It's hard to describe in words what she was doing. I don't know if it was exactly love bombing, but with the energy she's putting out, I was fully expecting a crash to come, and it did during the second week.
Yeah, dude.
When you say, I want, like, you have to change or we're breaking up, and we already know this person is, like, having a lot of issues, she's gonna take that to heart. Just
look at Riley's hat.
Yeah, please.
Or dump each other.
Dump each other.
Yeah, she needs to dump him at this point with what the roller coaster. He's like a chemist. He's like, do this. Oh, it exploded.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not what I wanted.
Ay. There was only so much I could handle before I needed a break, especially with how I was still feeling after everything that happened prior. My friends at work are the only other people I have been engaging with, and I've told them everything that has been happening.
Oh, that's so healthy. Especially probably that one girl you think is super grounded and you take their advice to heart.
They warned me again that I was getting love bombed like they predicted, and it would only get worse. They asked me what I would do if I was stuck with her longer than 2 months, and I said my lease would be ending soon, so it was helping ease my mind, as I wouldn't mind moving if this all turned out for the worse, while still giving her enough time of a heads up. They stated their concerns, that I was coming to work more tired than usual and it was getting noticeable, but I told them that I felt fine. During the weekend, they had insisted that I go out with them to help my mood, stating that too much time in my apartment was not good for my health in this current situation. I declined when first offered, but after being asked again the day of, I agreed, and for most of the day, I was with them having a really good time. In fact, it helped to regain my mood considerably. Naturally, my girlfriend was wondering where I had been on the entire day, but I told her I had been with friends, and even though she was disappointed we couldn't go out for the day, I promised her we would spend all day tomorrow together. That is not helping.
Yeah,
This is not helping. This is not helping.
Ugh.
You're just going to be upset that you have to spend all your time with her.
And then
that's going to be the new problem.
And then she brought me to the city.
And she made me hang out with her all day.
And she cooked me food, and then
she was love bombing me, and it sucked.
And I didn't want to eat that food because it was my favorite. Oh my gosh.
I get continued messages that I should immediately drop my friends and that they are manipulating me and my decisions.
Oh wow.
And think what you may, I know they're good people who look out for me. They played a large part in me quitting smoking this year, which although that has made me anxious at times, has helped me with my health considerably. There's a different type of bond you form with people in our work environment, and I trust my coworkers with my life, for a lack of a better term. Anyway, that's most of what happened the first week. Putting everything for the second week would triple this post, and it's hard looking back on it as it happened so recently and I still feel heavily raw. But yeah, thank you for your messages, and I'll try to reply to those of you I promised to keep updated for more relevant details, and there is an update.
All right.
This is the 2 month.
2 month mark.
2 month
Dude,
mark.
If they're not broken up, I'm going to scream. I'm so frustrated right now. I'm so frustrated with this man. It's ridiculous.
I don't understand his logic. The thing
like,
that killed
say
me
to break up with her. What did you say?
The thing that killed me was I need you to put more effort, more.
Yeah.
She did that. And he's like, I think she's love bombing me.
Too much.
That's what killed me the most.
It's ridiculous.
I still want to break up with her.
Obviously, she's
bro, just break up.
Yeah, she is not in the right here. But coming from just a purely like looking at the situation,
yeah,
she was feeling complacent, or she was complacent. She was going through depressive episode.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said, I need you to change or I'm breaking up with you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to like monitor your change over the 2 months or I'm breaking up with you.
And it doesn't seem like.
And so she's like, I need to do as much as possible to keep you.
And of course she's going to do that because she has no one else speaking into her life since. And you're speaking this nonsense into her.
Yeah. And you're telling her that there is a chance. Just break up with her. Just break up with her.
Does she know that lease is ending in 2 months? That's what I want to know.
He said that he would tell her. But there is an update 2 months later. This is a very long post, just as a forewarning.
Right,
we know. Cool. I've been holding back posting this for a while, as whenever I've been getting to write, I cannot continue without having to stop. But now that over a month has passed, I think now is the best time to reflect. There might be parts in this post that don't make too much sense chronologically, but given that I've been writing and taking breaks over multiple attempts, some past tense might be off as to where I began and left off. When I said the crash of emotions would come, I was right. It was ugly, loud, and could have been easily prevented in parts. When I posted my last update, I was not in the right mental state, so reflecting on the week before and writing helped to calm my nerves. I'm also a bit embarrassed to admit that I started to smoke a bit again, but it also helped tremendously in my mental state, which was getting close to crashing as of recent, and without the help of my friends, I didn't have much else to turn to. This breakdown was something I could not tell them since I didn't want them stepping in. There has been a point where my girlfriend was in a not so well mood during one of our outings to the city. After returning home, she had said I was being dismissive and if I felt angry or upset with her. Trying to be better with communicating, I said that I was getting uncomfortable with her constant need of affirmation and affection, as it was continually constant. Given that she was still sleeping in the living room at night, I was getting no time alone to myself at all while at home, and after so many outings, I was starting to get physically and emotionally drained.
Why is she still your girlfriend, bro?
I don't get it.
This doesn't make any sense.
I don't get it. Truthfully, I felt physically tired more than anything. And given what my coworkers and my girlfriend say, it tends to show on my face more worse than it is. My girlfriend seemed to take this heavily and didn't attempt to talk with me for the remainder of the day, along with the next, but was in a much more brooding mood during the second. Maybe it would have been better to apologize or communicate better during that point, as it might have been the point that a lot of this could have been avoided if I said something. That is the moral of this story. But instead, I took the time to nap and spend time alone, which I had rarely the chance to for over a week. Then came the third day. A lot happened over the course of this day, and a lot was said, and this was where the breaking point occurred, which caused further problems throughout the following week. I will try to be as thorough as I can remember everything that happened, from the start of the day to the end. When I had woken up, I had left without saying goodbye or speaking to my girlfriend, as I was almost running late. Normally, I at least check in on her to see what she's doing before I leave. She's been sleeping in our room for the last few days since her mood dropped. My mood was higher than usual during work, as I was rested, had my alone time, and was just genuinely having a nice time at the hospital, which doesn't happen too often. There were a few times when my coworkers would go out to eat after work, and for the past few weeks I had been declining, but on this given day I joined them, which led to me arriving home around 9 or later. It was pretty late, and I had a few drinks. This is where I begin to have trouble writing, and where I usually stop. Arriving home, I see my girlfriend sitting down in the living room, looking at me directly as I walked in, not saying a word. It startled me, and I asked what she had been doing, as she wasn't on her phone, nor was she watching TV, just sitting as if she was staring at a wall before I had entered. She asked me where I had been, and I said I was out with friends. She immediately asked, were they my friends from work? My girlfriend is aware that I work alongside mostly women, and I have brought up my friends in the past before our relationship broke down to this point. I said yes. I was with them and we had gone out to eat. She asked me if I had been drinking as well. I don't know if it was noticeable or not, or just a random question, but I said that I had. There was a period of uncomfortable silence that felt a lot longer in memory. She eventually brought up my month deadline on whether my feelings would change, and she asked if they had. It took me a minute to reply, as that question had taken me off guard, and I said I appreciated her efforts in what she was doing, but I was still unsure of our future together and couldn't give her a direct answer.
Oh my freaking gosh.
This guy's a monster. I think Caitlin said it the best.
These two are like toxically like intertwined.
Yes.
Like they just can't.
Yep, I'll say it again. He is keeping her around so he doesn't feel bad for leaving her, or to get some sick ego boost from her affection.
Yeah. They both need each other for different reasons, and it's exhausting because every time she says, "Are you like have I done enough? Have I done enough?" He's like, maybe. No, just
I'll look
say
into
no.
it.
Just say no.
Say no. Get out of there.
Get out of there.
The
Why
fact that
are
he
you
keeps
doing this?
referring to her as his girlfriend. There is no relationship here, bro.
No.
There is no relationship. This is like
really
Parasite.
ridiculous.
This is definitely very,
Parasite.
yeah.
Yeah, dude, this is fucking crazy.
She told me again that during our outings together that I was being dismissive and that she felt I wasn't putting in the same effort to make this relationship work. I asked what she meant, as I was going out with her whenever she asked and matching her effort in finding hobbies whenever she thought of something she enjoyed. To me, it just seemed like something she was just saying out of neediness. I think it was at this point she started to lose her composure, as her voice couldn't remain constant. She told me if I was aware that I wasn't smiling when we were outside, that I was quiet and rarely talked when we were spending time together. I told her she already knew how I felt, so for some of it, my mixed feelings shouldn't come as a surprise. But I also explained again my lack of talking was just from being tired from work. But I don't think she believed me. She told me she's constantly overthinking how I feel now that she knows I lost feelings and doesn't know what she can do to make them come back. I told her again to just find a passion for something, anything, to get out of bed and be active with anything in her life. Stop it. Stop it. This is so frustrating.
Yeah.
Because that's not going to make it, like if she found a passion, that wouldn't fix the problems in your relationship.
Oh gosh.
It is too far gone to fix the problems in your relationship.
Yeah.
Sure, she might need to find a passion, but that's a separate issue from your relationship.
And I also think the reason he's going out is because there's girls, and he's probably getting even more attention from that. Because, you all know how we like a good goss. We come here every day to commune over some goss. And that's probably why he likes it. He's getting attention from that too.
I mean, it's frustrating when you're actively going to your friends, complaining about this relationship that you're still in.
Yeah.
It's,
yeah.
He's definitely like, anytime she brings up something like, oh, am I doing the things that you want? He's annoyed by it.
Yeah.
He's like, I told you to do this, but.
It's just.
I'll think about it though.
Yeah. I'll keep telling you you're doing it and I like it, but I can't give you a definitive answer.
At this point, he's leading her on because
that's
she's
the worst
saying,
part.
Oh, like we've reached the 2 months, and he's like, well, I'm
and
not
now
sure.
it's hitting her. Like he's just leading me on.
Yeah.
She says it's been 2 weeks and she's been active as she can possibly be, to the point that it was causing her mental stress. But my mood wasn't improving, and she's wondering if anything will actually change now that it's closer to a month. And then came the full breakdown. Through tears and a broken voice, she tells me how much she loves me, how much affection and love she has given me throughout this relationship, just for me to throw it away over something as stupid as my conditions, as if it was just an excuse to end things, if I really loved her at all while we were together. She goes on to say that even with how upset she is at me and how hurt and betrayed she has felt by the one person she has, that she still loves me and wants to continue our relationship. She
just doesn't have anyone else.
She tells me there will be nothing for her if I leave. No one, no place, no future. Her will to live will be gone, and she won't know what to do with herself. That's the thing. She also doesn't love you. She just needs you. And that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a lot I could have said during this, but I don't think I can accurately convey just how hard she was breaking down emotionally during this exchange. There are points as to where she was almost screaming, completely bawling, and it all just made me freeze, as this was the first time I've ever witnessed her fall apart at this level. Yeah, Lovely Fawn says they are sickly codependent. Yeah. She goes on again to say there's no reason to live. Oh, if this is the end, it won't matter what job she gets. Another month will not be enough, and she knows I still won't want to be with her, and that she will have nothing. After everything was said, she locked herself again in our room and stayed there for a few more days. Whenever I tried to knock to initiate conversation, she screamed for me to go away, and I did. Ugh. A few days later, she had finally calmed down enough to where we could speak to each other, and she changed her attitude 180. She was still upset, but extremely apologetic in what she did and said, telling me that a lot of it was just in the moment and she didn't mean it.
I think she's just trying to keep her a place to live and just trying to keep her safety.
She's having a breakdown. She's having a breakdown, and you saying that you still want to be with her, or maybe still want to be with her, is hurting so much more.
Yeah, this is wild. This is wild. This is why you have a support group, why you have friends, why you don't put yourself in a situation where you're just dependent on your partner super big like this.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you do, that they're a better person than this guy. Oh my gosh.
The days that I was finally able to spend alone without her or my friends gave me the mental strength to finally do what I should have a month ago.
Gosh.
Finally. I told her as gently and calmly as I could that it was over, that there was no chance that we could be together at this point, and I no longer wanted to be in a relationship. I told her I would let her stay for an additional 2 months until she could find a job and help her get on her feet. And by the way, you can help us get on our feet by joining us live on YouTube every weekday at 3 p.m. PST. Just tap our profile. There is a little bit more to this story. Daphne says, let's be honest, she got her needs taken care of, a place to stay, and emotional needs. She's dependent on him and now is going to lose everything and doesn't know how to take care of herself.
Yeah, because like she has a horrible relationship with her parents.
Yeah.
She has nowhere else to go.
Friends, it seems.
And she's doing this to keep herself afloat because she has no money, no support system at all. It's just him.
Yeah. This is a terrible relationship on both ends.
Oh my gosh.
Ay. I don't even like literally the only solution here is to break up.
Yeah, break up.
But let's see if they do. I also said if that she was unable to do anything by that time, then I would be gone and moved out. She started to cry again, but in a much more defeated manner that almost made me break myself. But she agreed to the terms and it was finally done. She was able to get a job at a supermarket about a week afterwards.
Like I said earlier, sometimes you need a very difficult thing to happen to you in order for you to make progress yourself.
But only part-time at first, as that was all they were offering. After our final confrontation, our speaking terms were more or less dead. Whenever she was off at work, she would be in her room alone for the remainder of the day and night. I had stayed on the couch, as at this point I was pretty much used to it and didn't really mind it. It feels really wrong and selfish to say, but I feel extremely free and happy for a bit. I didn't inform my coworkers about my breakup when it happened and just continued to vaguely say that we were working on it. But during that time, I frequently started going out a lot more with them after work, as staying in our apartment felt more like a chore and depressing.
Wonder why you started going out with them more.
I had hit what?
Because he works in a female-dominant workplace.
I honestly don't think it's that. I think it's just like...
I don't know.
His home environment is draining.
His home environment is draining.
I understand that, but I just don't think that this guy has emotional... I
don't think he has emotional intelligence.
Yeah, at all. And I think he's like, I don't know. I think he's using this as an escape. Like, oh, I still have a chance with these other girls. That's what he's just scum of the earth kind of guy. I don't know.
I had hit a high that I had not felt in a long while, and then everything came crashing on me the following week. I had contracted pneumonia.
Good.
I don't know about that, Keon.
No, dude, this guy, he told her.
I don't know if he deserves pneumonia.
Nah, dude, this guy sucks. This guy really sucks.
And was off work for about 2 weeks to recover. At first, I thought I had caught a cold, but one day it hit like a brick, and my lungs felt at 50% capacity.
Okay, not that. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
All right. I don't know. Maybe.
I couldn't take a deep breath without going into a fit of coughing, and I constantly felt fatigued. Even now, as I write this update with most of my symptoms gone, I still have to use an inhaler to help me breathe at times. For most of the days that I had been sick, I was sleeping. Most days between 12 to 14 hours, and the time that I was awake, I was lying down. When I told her what I had contracted and she saw how sick I was, she offered to let me have the bedroom again, but I refused and said that I was fine. Since she was working part-time, there was still a lot of time that she was spending at home, and for the first few days, she left me alone. But towards the middle of the first week, I was sick. She started to occasionally check on me to see if I was okay and if I wanted anything to eat. Honestly, I hated that me being sick forced us to interact, not because I was mad or anything, but because it felt incredibly awkward and weird, and that I had to depend on her now for a few things, not even a week after we had broken up.
How the turn freaking tables, dude.
I didn't feel well enough to get groceries like I normally did, and since she already worked at a supermarket, she insisted that she buy food instead. And when I gave her my card, she refused and said she would buy it herself. For the most part, I was snacking on fruit and cookies, but she said if I was going to get better, that I eat actual meals. So she began to cook for me.
Oh my God.
Even when I said I didn't want anything.
Stop. Can we just stop reading?
I'm like so scared.
This is like a horror movie, guys.
I'm so scared.
This is a horror freaking movie.
Like she's got a job.
Is swinging.
She's cooking for him. She's got the photographer. Even with this, we didn't eat together for the first week as she went back to her room after checking on me. But during the start of the second week of being home, she started to sit down with me while I was awake and talk with me. She told me about her day at work and her coworkers and a bunch of other stuff. It felt like a lot of it were things she wanted to tell me earlier but couldn't because everything was still raw. But when she started to talk, she didn't stop, and honestly, I enjoyed listening to her talk about her day because it felt different.
No.
This is like when this is like watching a horror movie and you know that
it's a horror movie.
The evil clown is about to attack someone. It went from talking to us watching TV together during nights that I couldn't fall asleep, to us just talking about our issues that we've been holding to ourselves for a while. It was extremely cathartic, and there was no yelling or arguing, just listening. It felt a way that we hadn't talked in a long time, not since from before we got together years ago when we were friends and classmates.
Stop. Literally stop.
I still need to break up. Sometime during the second week, I had hit a point where I felt extremely ill and didn't want to talk or do anything, but I couldn't sleep either because I kept coughing. She didn't go to work that day and stayed beside me for a long while. We didn't talk at all, but she made sure I was still eating and drinking water. There's a lot that can be said on how those 2 weeks made me feel about my situation with her and everything that has happened, but I can't convey them in words, much less writing, but I'll just say it was a lot of time to think. Since I've recovered, I've been trying to make a bigger effort to talk with her, but at the same time, not trying to make it feel forced as it may have felt a month ago. It's just random conversations about random things, about how our photos were going, how work was doing, if she liked her boss, just whatever. She spent less time in her room and more time in the living room with me when I had gotten home, just talking about her day and work, customers and coworkers, and in turn, I told her about my day. Gradually within these weeks, it felt as if the transition of being in a relationship to being friends was a lot more apparent, and it feels better and more organic this way as it's become easier to communicate. Okay.
I think that's what he
I don't
thinks.
know.
I
I'm
think it's
giving
what
him the
he
benefit
thinks.
of the doubt. This is the only time I'll give him a benefit of the doubt.
I
Okay,
think it's what he thinks, though, guys.
Okay,
I really
possibly.
think this is what he thinks, not what she thinks.
Okay. Could be okay. Even still, though, there is a barrier between us, something that formed from our final argument, and it's hard to describe exactly what it is, but it's there. Well, obviously, you guys are exes. The deadline that I had formed for me moving out is at the end of October, as that's when my lease ends. I'll post another update around that time. This post has turned a lot longer than I thought, but it's nice looking back on everything and seeing how our situation has been changing for the better. If you're still around reading this, we are. Thanks for the continued messages regarding my situation. Sorry if I couldn't reply.
Is that it?
In the meantime.
Is that it?
And that is it.
Here's my hot take.
Yeah. What's your hot take?
Just sounded like she needed to find a job in order for them to be okay. Because once she got a job,
everything was fine.
everything's fine. She just didn't have anything she had responsibilities for.
Yeah.
And I think, honestly, if at that, whenever he had that first hard conversation with her,
like, hey, you need to get a job.
Get a job.
I need help financially.
This probably would have been okay.
Probably would have been fine.
Because now he has more respect for her.
Yeah.
And it's like a regular relationship.
And she kind of did it for herself because he was like, you have to move out. So she's like, well, I need money to move out.
I just think she needed a job. That's my hot take on this.
Man.
I think if she would have gotten a job whenever they talked, they could still be they could incline. They could have
you guys cannot get back together though.
No,
like, literally don't get back together.
Please don't.
Please don't.
Please
like
don't.
use what you learned for the next relationship.
Yeah.
Don't use it for this one, please. Because
Caitlin
it seems
Van
like you're actually
Campen,
doing better.
This is literally what my ex did to me. It's not going to be okay.
It's not gonna be
Oh,
okay.
boy.
Please leave.
Yeah.
Oh man.
There's a
Man,
couple
oh, man.
updates. Hold on.
Couple of updates. Oh boy, you might have to put them all in a Google Doc. Sorry, Sophia. But goodness gracious.
My back. What a tale. What a tale.
A tall tale. You're still like, don't get back together.
Don't get back together. I think that they should use what they've learned to like move on.
Yeah.
I think it's good that they're, amicable. I think
They could
that's
be
always better to
friends.
be healthy, like have a healthy relationship. Now that we have broken up and I feel that tensions have eased, I spoke to my work friends again about what happened. Though I left the words about ending her life, among other things, out as I didn't want them to act. Given our situation was already better, there was no need to bring it up. Both my friends chastised me, telling me everything that they predicted to happen did happen, that she did love bomb me, and that she did break down. They were angry that I didn't break up with her sooner, but in the end, were happy for me that it was over. They asked me what my plans were now, and I said I was already planning on leaving at the end of October and already had a new place in mind. They asked me if she was also okay with it, though I just responded that she knew that I was leaving, and I didn't ask what she was planning on doing afterwards. They tell me that she's going to ask to continue being roommates even if we're not together, saying that there's no way she can afford rent on her own with the current job that she has. They ask me what I'm going to plan to do if she asks me to continue living together, and I didn't have a response to that because I honestly don't know. I know it's easy to say that I should just leave and not worry about how she'll live after the end of October, and I know those who tell me this are looking after me with good intentions, but I still know that she has no contact with parents, no friends, and no real savings. A large part of me wishes I didn't know any of this and was in ignorance, but I know there was a very high chance she'll be in a bad situation in terms of housing. And no matter how many people tell me I have no obligation or to stop having a savior complex, it just does not feel right. So I've told myself this after a lot of deliberation. If she doesn't ask me for help, If she doesn't ask to continue living together as roommates, then I will let it be done and I will not reach out a hand. But if she does ask to live together on a monthly basis until I can see that she's able to rent on her own, then I will accept and I'll leave it at that. With all that said though, now that we're done romantically, I can't see myself ever going back, as I've already started to look outwards. I know this may seem like a mistake, and I don't think anything I've done has been perfect, as some can tell obviously, but I'm going by what I think is right, and given that I feel that I'm in a better place now, I'm going to continue with it. But yeah, that's all I have to say for now.
That's it.
That's it.
Whew!
That's it. Yeah, you can take that off.
That's just a rant.
Oh,
He just has a rant. Hold
oh
on.
man. Nah, I don't need to read that rant.
We're not reading your
Not
rant,
reading it.
dude.
We
We've
don't
already
wanna read
read
your-
so much
we-
of
we
your
read your
freaking
whole
rant.
freaking
Just like
7K
his little
rant.
thing here. I'll post again when I feel like there's enough to be read and enough time to think rationally and not emotionally.
He did say
about
he likes
transpired
to-
events, and no, there would be no TLDRs. F you.
Damn,
This guy
okay.
sucks.
F you, dude.
Guy
Now,
sucks.
you know what he's doing now? He's doing that to us.
Yeah.
Because he's like, oh, now I can get attention from
We're
Reddit.
trauma bonded now. Good. Yeah, don't get back with her. Don't live with her. Stop.
Get
Please.
out of there. Get
Please.
out of there, please.
Please.
Goodness gracious.
But that is the end of that story.
That is the end of that
It's
story.
the end of that long, long story.
I hooked you guys in with a happy one, and we left off on a really
yeah, dude,
sad
thanks,
note.
Keon. Thanks. He's the one that found all these stories. Thanks, Keon. I hope
Thanks,
you're happy
Keon.
with yourself.
But
Yeah,
if you love us,
get in there.
make
yeah.
sure to subscribe. We love you.
And see you tomorrow!